Hello, and welcome to the SAF Audiovisual Cast, where we, SAF, connect and share information from top university officials, faculty, and administration directly with SAF students and parents. Thanks for joining us. First, I'm your host, William, with SAF and IES in Chicago. We've got a great guest here today, Dr. Sarah Grosik, Associate Director of Curriculum and Instruction for English Language Programs at the University of Pennsylvania. Hello, Dr. Sarah.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for asking. It's Friday, so I'm enjoying. Now,
yes, me too.
Now, Sarah, we will love to hear a little bit about you, and I think you have a pretty cool background in education. Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit to us?
Sure. So as William said, my name is Dr. Sarah Grosik, and I'm here in Pennsylvania in the United States right now. And I work at the University of Pennsylvania, as William also mentioned. I've been at Penn for over 10 years now, but prior to that, I taught English abroad. I taught in Africa, and I also taught in Dalian, in China for a short amount of time. And I've also previously been a K-12 elementary school teacher before I moved into higher ed. And now I serve as the Associate Director of Curriculum and Instruction for the English language programs. So I oversee our courses and programs as well as how they are taught and who is teaching them. And I also serve as a lecturer in the Graduate School of Education, Educational Linguistics Division. So I teach future teachers as well.
Very cool. Thanks for that. Now, we have lots of questions, but I think we can start maybe on the East Coast and Pennsylvania. So you're based in where again?
So the University of Pennsylvania is located in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is one of the largest cities in the United States, not large necessarily by Chinese standards, but large for us. And the university is right in Philadelphia. Although it is an urban city campus, it's also a beautiful campus. We've got lots of green space on campus, trees. It has kind of a park-like setting in a lot of ways. So we're really blessed with being in the center of it all in a city, but also having a lot of outdoor space that we're able to use and enjoy while we're on campus.
Now, as I understand, the university is somewhat academically well suited, or near some of the tops in many rankings or other judgments. Could you tell us a little bit about the academic history of the university?
Yes, so the University of Pennsylvania is one of the oldest universities in the United States, and it's also a member of the Ivy League, if you've heard of that category. So those are some prestigious institutions on the East Coast, generally in the Northeast in the United States, like Harvard and Princeton and Cornell. Yeah, so we are lucky that we are able to be ranked usually pretty well in terms of US rankings, along with worldwide rankings as well. And yeah, it's a wonderful university, and I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Very cool. Now, you had mentioned a moment ago the campus, kind of like a park in the city. It would be cool to hear a little bit more. Maybe you can tell us about your favorite place on campus.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it does feel like a park. Some campuses, when they're urban, they're kind of spread out, in kind of different places in the city where there's maybe some other buildings thrown in between. The way our campus is that it's really, once you're on campus, even though you're in the city, there's nothing else really happening there besides maybe stores or coffee shops or restaurants. But the whole thing is actually the campus. And I have so many favorite places on campus. The library, of course, we've got a beautiful, wonderful library. We also have, which is probably pretty unique for an urban campus, we have something called the bio pond, which is a pond, a kind of a small lake that has all kinds of fish and turtles, and it's just a really nice place to go and sit on campus to have kind of a quiet space. A lot of students will go and sit on a bench by the pond and do their homework or just kind of take a break to relax there.
Now, I would be regretful I would regret if I didn't ask you a couple more questions about the city that you'd mentioned before. You said Philadelphia. I feel like I've heard of that before. Are you guys big sports fans?
Yes, so Philadelphia Philadelphia fans are known to be very loyal and maybe fierce fans. So we have a number of sports teams in the city. We have the Philadelphia Phillies, which is our baseball team, and we love to bring students to Phillies games. We also have the Philadelphia 76ers as our basketball team and also bring students there. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles for football, and we've got a soccer team as well, the Philadelphia Union.
Very cool. So you've got well, Allen Iverson doesn't play there anymore, but I imagine some name recognition for that famous 76ers team for some of our potential students.
Yes.
Now, along with that, it's a big city by American standards, but also you've got this campus in the middle that's kind of like a park. It sounds just wonderful. But obviously today we're getting together to chat a little bit more about online programs. And before we jump into that, it's very interesting to our listeners to hear a little bit about what life has been like or how life has changed due to the pandemic. Would you share a little bit about the university's response and how things have been in Philadelphia?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So right now, I'm not actually in Philadelphia. I'm at my home, which is in a suburb. So those of us who generally are in the university working are mostly all working remotely from our homes. So since March, we have been primarily all working remotely, and almost all of our classes on campus have been delivered online in a remote fashion as well. So, almost everyone is at home at this point still, but we're really looking forward to the time that we can get back onto campus again.
Okay, cool. Now, as mentioned, we've got some pretty cool stuff that's available remotely or online, and it would be nice to jump right in. I think maybe we could start with the general online course format for language learning through Penn.
Yeah, so for many, many years, we've been using a learning management system for all of our classes anyway. So we use a learning management system that's called Canvas, which is a place where we share all of our course materials. We share assignments. Students are able to submit assignments. We have video recordings and readings and things like that, all within this learning management system. So we were lucky that we already had online course sites available for all of our courses when we had to transition to this remote virtual delivery. What has changed is we're now delivering all of our classes, which used to be live and face-to-face in a classroom on campus. Now we're delivering those through Zoom. So we are logging in and we're able to see everyone and hear everyone with their webcams and microphones. But instead of, being physically together, we are virtually together in a Zoom room. But I think our students are still really enjoying classes, and we really try to foster a lot of interaction with the students. So with the students being able to communicate and interact frequently with the teachers, but also so that the students are able to interact and communicate with one another a lot, so that they have lots of opportunities for language practice. And one way we do that is by using Zoom breakout rooms, where we students can work in pairs or small groups to complete a task or activity together and then come back to the whole class and share what they've done.
Very cool. So Canvas and Zoom, and
Yes.
lots of interaction both between students and also between instructors and students. A great start. I've got so many more questions. This is fun. Now, we here today for SAF are interested in hearing more about the English for Leadership and Innovation opportunity. So with that part, can you maybe give us a quick intro?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a 3-week course. And the way that that course is structured is that, well, first of all, you get to learn English through the content of leadership, the topics of leadership and innovation and technological innovation in particular. And the way that we have formatted the course is that each day you have one live class meeting with your instructor and your classmates via Zoom. In addition to that live class meeting, you also have about 2 hours of work that you do through Canvas. So what that looks like would be things like reading an article or a text, and then maybe responding with a quiz, or doing some vocabulary development before you watch a video, taking a vocabulary quiz, then watching a video on something, and maybe responding to what you watched in a discussion prompt where you're able to have a discussion with your classmates. So you would respond, and then your classmates would also respond, and you would be able to see and share with your classmates in that forum.
Very cool. Now, how would this work, for example, for students overseas in Asia?
Yeah, so we have run this course remotely multiple times now, and we've had lots of students in Asia and specifically in China who have taken this course and have been very successful with it. So the way, as you know, of course, there is a big time difference between the East Coast of the United States and mainland China. So we generally have the classes very early in the morning in the United States, and then that would mean that they're in the evening for you in China. So the class meetings would be in the evening, and then you would be able to do what we call asynchronous work, which is independent work that you do on your own online. You would be able to do that during your own time, anytime between the class meetings.
Very cool. So is this a course that's for Chinese students, or will there be students from different parts of the world involved?
So it depends on, it could be for anyone, I should say, of course. And we've offered it where we've had students from other countries in it as well. We have also offered it for specific partners where it has been, maybe just a group of students from one Chinese university. If you're enrolling in the open enrollment, versions of English for Leadership and Innovation that we are offering in January or February, you very likely will have students from other countries in your class as well.
Very cool. So we've kind of looked at the opportunity itself. It sounds like though that it could be some significant amount of hours or a dedication level that would be expected from students. And I know that the University of Pennsylvania is academically rigorous. Could we maybe go into a little bit more about both the student profile and also the expectations for those students?
Yeah, that's a great question. So absolutely, we do want, because it's quite a short program, it's only 3 weeks, we really want to provide students with a rigorous program where they're going to feel like they've made some progress and some gains in that short amount of time. So really, we're looking for students who are able to, make the commitment to join that live class meeting each day, 5 days a week for the course of the 3 weeks, and then do have the time to complete the out of class activities as well. And as I said, that would be about 2 hours a day, sometimes maybe a little bit less, but I would say like you should try to budget for 2 hours a day. And in terms of student profile, generally this has been designed for undergraduate students, and from like an intermediate to advanced level of English proficiency. And also, one thing that I didn't mention is in the course, we also provide an opportunity for the students to attend virtual guest lectures with other Penn professors, which is a really wonderful opportunity. And that would kind of be part of that 2 hours of out of class time that you'd be expected to spend on a particular day. Yeah, and so I
Very
think
cool.
anyone who has that kind of time and interest would be a great fit.
Okay, so I would love to hear a little bit more about how leadership and innovation make their way through the course material.
Yeah, wonderful question. So the course really focuses on thinking about questions like what makes someone a good leader, um, what characteristics are really important, thinking about different leadership styles and how different leaders exhibit those leadership styles. We also offer an opportunity for students to reflect on their own ability and characteristics as a leader themselves. And then we think about the importance of innovation, and particularly, in order to be an effective leader and to run a company effectively, or an organization, not just a company, you really need to be able to foster and promote innovation as well within your organization. So we look at how different organizations have really tried to be innovative, and used and adapted new technologies in order to do so.
Very cool. It sounds like a really unique opportunity. Now, I'd like to go a little bit further into this student profile. You mentioned before some of the, let's say, the basic requirements, English language and availability. It sounds like, if I'm not mistaken, this is almost best suited for maybe a business student or a future leader, somebody who is interested in going into a place where there's an international, an international setting that also requires teamwork. Would that be fair to say, or could you expand on it for us?
Yeah, so I think a lot of students do have some sort of experience, either a major or a minor in a business field, but it's also suited for people who maybe are not specifically in business or a business major, but are just interested in the topics of exploring leadership and learning how to be a better leader themselves. I don't work in the field of business. I'm in education, but for me, it's important to be a good and effective leader within my organization. So I would say, and of course, to be following innovation and making sure we're constantly adapting, like we've had to adapt with virtual instruction. So I think that leadership and innovation, although yes, maybe on the surface seem best suited to business majors, could really be interesting for a wide range of students from different disciplines.
Very cool. So potentially very useful for business students, and then also potentially very useful for anyone who's in a scenario where they need to lead or innovate, which it seems like in this day and age is many, many different fields and industries, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I have done some reading and I have heard about some of the professors. I know we've also heard from you who is a professor. I also think there's some pretty interesting other profiles. One in particular, I think we spoke about some of your other instructors, but maybe if you could give us an intro a little bit more.
Yeah, so we have, in terms of instructors for the course, we have Robin Turner is an ELP instructor who frequently teaches this course, and she has tons of experience teaching different English courses and lots of content-based instruction courses like this. In terms of guest lectures, we have a professor from Wharton, Dr. Ann Greenhall, who comes and gives a wonderful lecture about leadership and really gets learners to think about how and what an effective leader is.
Again, some unique opportunities for students here. Now, we've talked about the course format, and we've talked about some of the expectations. So let's say I am an SAF student with Pennsylvania enrolled for 3 weeks. Would I expect to be fully with Pennsylvania for those 3 weeks? Or could I also, for example, continue studies at my school in China, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the students that we've had have also been doing something else while they're doing this program with us. Maybe one of the nice things about the schedule of it being in the evening for the courses is that you do have most of your day free, that you are able to keep taking your courses or doing other things that you are committed to. I would say as long as you have the evening time available to attend the live class meeting and then can find 2 hours of time, and maybe not a 2-hour block, but some little blocks of time to do the coursework, then you should be able to join the program without any problem.
Knowing our students, it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like there's a large appetite for learning. Can grad students apply?
Grad students can apply. I would say just knowing that the depth that we approach these topics is not necessarily the depth that we would for a program targeted at graduate students. It's a survey into these topics. So as long as they understand that the course is more of a survey of topics related to leadership and innovation, but it still is a really excellent opportunity for learners to practice their English while discussing these topics. So yeah, I think that would be a fit for them if that would work.
And is this a certificate course?
Yes. So as long as you attend 70% of 70% of the class meetings and complete the course, all of the coursework with a 70% grade or higher, you will receive a certificate of completion for the program.
So we've talked about the profile of students, and we've talked about some of the benefits, the unique benefits that come from studying with Pennsylvania. Can you give us maybe 1 or 2 scenarios on how these different offerings can support an overseas, for example, China-based students' goals?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that our course, and in particular, English for Leadership and Innovation, can really give a nice window into what studying at a U.S. university would look like and feel like. So for learners who are potentially interested in later getting perhaps a graduate degree at a U.S. institution, or maybe doing some more longer term programs at a U.S. institution, I think that this is a really good course that can give them kind of a sense of what that would be like. In addition, even though it is a short course, I really do think that the course gives learners a great deal of opportunity to explore topics in English and also produce a lot of English in relation to these topics. So students in this course have the opportunity to complete a variety of presentations and talk about these topics in English, which is a really wonderful experience to improve their English speaking ability and confidence.
Oh, There's a lot of unique opportunities with this course. I think also thank you so much for this detailed introduction. One of the things that I need to introduce you to now is our favorite way to end our little recording is to give some recommendations about campus life, maybe specifically focusing on the culinary side. So we know we're speaking with our foodie Chinese SAF students, and it would be great to hear from you, maybe a recommendation for a must-have on campus.
Yeah, so our campus has amazing food. Um, and just about 2 years ago, right across from our campus, we had a food court that was built and or renovated, and it has amazing kind of gourmet food. So right across the street from us, we've got a famous falafel place stand by a famous Philadelphia chef, Michael Solomonov. And there's also in there sushi, which is delicious, wood-fired pizza, burgers. It's got everything that you could possibly want, and it's right across the street. I will say that it's very delicious and hard to resist because it's very quick and easy to get delicious food in there. It is a little bit pricey because it's all kind of gourmet food, but it's nice.
Wow, very, very interesting. I feel like campuses have changed since when I was an undergrad. And we also mentioned that you have spent some time living in Dalian in an earlier stage of your career. It would be a miss if I didn't ask you about your favorite Chinese food during that time.
That's a great question. So I am a big fan of tofu. So when I was there, I really enjoyed the tofu that I could get, many different tofu dishes that I feel like it's tough to get tofu that is as good as that here in the United States. So I really enjoyed lots of different tofu dishes while I was there.
I believe that. I believe that. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with potential students?
I'd just like to say we really enjoy having students from SAF come and study with us, and we look forward to having more in the future.
Well, thanks so much for your time today, and see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Thank you.